anybody else from Brian or Daniel?
I was looking at, for yearly, all the people we do to conduct yearly evaluations. I saw it in a few, not all of them. We're talking about, evaluations.
We do those, yeah, we do those on their anniversary dates of employment.
When I'm saying I didn't see it on the job descriptions. Oh, they do.
It's in the personnel policy.
I saw them on a couple of them.
Some of them that were prior, when I copied and pasted, some of them might have had it and some of them didn't. But it's in the personnel policy covered under that. I can go back and add it to all of the job descriptions if you would like me to.
Something I want to talk about, I didn't see, a couple of years ago, maybe, now, we talked about the new law information for what happened about cultural awareness. I didn't see that anywhere in this information that we ensure it happens. Not about the equipment, but it happens. I'm not sure what has gone since then. Everybody in this room has had it or not. I hope it has. But we're not, I see nowhere where that be a responsibility should it take place. Now, as I explained back then, the importance of that happening, and that happened because of a certain incident out that we won't bring up. It is important that we all understand and how we treat people and what we say to people that we need this. And new employees come on, we need to make sure that they are aware of the importance of how you speak with people of other cultures. Now, is there a reason why this is not included as part of the job duty? Are you seeing a personnel file, a personnel policy somewhere?
I don't think we added nepotism, but that is a good thing to add. That's what I mean. When you say cultural training, do you mean like the workplace harassment training
What's
or?
the topic of that?
We did those videos.
Yes, what's the
Sensitivity.
sensitivity training?
Sam, let me ask you a question. Have you got any more information for Brian?
Well, that is it, because they have a part of the job description.
Go ahead.
I didn't see it in any of them, so I'm talking about everybody.
Okay.
So it's gonna apply to you all as well. I didn't see it. And what I'm talking about is, I'm not sure if it's been done yearly, 3 years, how long has it been done, how long has it been done, there?
I have no idea. I remember doing it back in my district. I don't remember how.
So there's-
Everybody can do it.
I thought we had decided when we all did it, took the test and whatever, that you wouldn't have to do it unless there was a new hire. And that was not.
Well, I'm talking about, you did say that, but I don't think that's enough.
No. Well, we probably get a new video if it's the same video over and over.
Okay. If they did a new video, that's fine.
Yeah, because if I just watched the same one that I watched the last time, because I learned.
I'm trying to make it as simple as I can. I don't care if it's the same video or not, but it still addresses on how to treat people, how to listen to them. So it can be the same, because I don't keep the same one, and I just need to make sure we're gonna have it.
The league actually has, the league and AMEX both have a rental program where you can rent the videos from them. They have different ones. And that's something that we can do like every couple of years, every year, whatever you want me to add, however you feel.
See, this is why I'm concerned. To have this kind of training for 3 years, I think it's not enough. And I keep going into where I worked. We didn't have it for 3 years. It was years. So am I gonna get rid of it? I don't know. But even a person of color understands the importance of the impact it may have on you. And for everybody, I won't say this later. The biggest concern for me too is that when this was done, the seriousness of how you didn't feel it was serious. So question is, did that just stop?
Evaluation.
No, the training for the culture citizen. Yes or no? It's died.
It was done the one time and we couldn't get some employees to do it.
Okay. Thank you. So how do we make sure as supervisors that when this happens, it has to be taken seriously from management as well as your leader. And I'm being serious about this. I don't know where it's gonna go. And it's gonna start. And once again, get people in here, it needs to be handled as a priority.
Maybe if the departments were having problems, I would suggest the supervisors come to me and let me know.
I don't need that. It should be a part of their job description, because they may not come to you.
I didn't say it wasn't part of the job description, but I mean, if they had a problem, I don't think we've had a problem in the last 15 years.
We had one, a couple years ago. Well, you don't remember?
Since then.
Well, one time is too many, Roger. Because if you allow it to happen with one person, they feel like they can do it because the other person got away with it.
Okay.
It don't cut me out, don't it?
Cassandra, I hesitate to say anything, but,
I'll say it.
I wouldn't have a problem with putting that as part of when somebody gets hired in, I have a video they can watch, and then maybe every, I don't know, every couple, 3 years, but I just, I know pretty much all of our employees pretty well, and the situation you're referring to, it maybe should or shouldn't have been said, but the employee had no problem with it. I talked to him, the supervisor had no, that was just the way they talked to each other. And
Okay.
so to me, if I called you a slur and I did it on purpose, and you had your feelings hurt, then I would get really in trouble over it. But if you and I are cutting up and we say something that we know that each other doesn't have a problem with, then but I still don't think there's any problem with having the sensitivity training on a regular basis. I just don't know how often.
Well, I'm gonna sit here and say this. I heard it, and it was sitting right next to me. This is not hearsay. This happened in my presence. 2 or 3 years to talk about training someone on being an assistant. Someone's culture is too long. It needs to happen in every year that this takes place. Because the thing is, when we had it, we didn't do anything about it. And if you just sit here and say that, because you know what? When we had an employee being treated inhumanely, nobody was talking about that. How it was okay. It can't be okay. Because it could be a race of the majority you all look like. You know how many people look like me? So, the council can make that decision, I tell you this, I think at the end of the day, if we don't take this seriously and make it into a policy or part of job description, we have failed as council people to look out for everybody within the city of these employees.
What do you think Emily came up with, other issues too besides just sensitivity, right?
Okay, give me that.
I'm just saying, there's probably several that need training every year possibly. We could just add a little part policy with it each year in such and such month, all employees would have to give themselves to training. Maybe they're not even besides that, but there may be several issues that need to be discussed.
Brenda, we can discuss that. I have no problem having a discussion. None whatsoever. So what do you want to discuss? Then maybe we can get into it. I'm open.
I think a good idea might be to do like a safety sensitivity training day, and maybe do the rental of the videos from those companies. That way we don't have to buy the same one every time, and we have a safety day, and the
the league or some other cities, they might do things other than safety and sensitivity. There might be about 3 or 4 things that we feel
Yeah.
like our employees need to get updated on every year. That's the reason I was
And
making.
that could be, I'm focusing on that, maybe because it was brought up a year or so ago. Now, we can, before they ask safety, all, cause y'all need to be safe, I have a problem with that. But this was brought up, and this, I thought had been decided, they would happen on a regular basis. And when I sit here and ask this question, it has to be. And I know the woman tried everything to get people to do it. But I don't know she had any backing from her superior to get it done. And I'm tired of spending all this time on this. But to me, it's very important, wanna add safety, whatever you know, needs to be doing that, it still needs to be a part of that, and needs to be some way to ensure that everybody gets, it falls on supervisors to get that. And it also falls on Roger if he does that. Thank you.
Anybody got any questions for Daniel or for Brian? If not, I'll excuse him.
Thank y'all. No, that is.
Any more discussion on the budget, job description?
I do about, on the budget, on the admin. The admin had asked for $2,000 to upgrade the Microsoft Teams compatible. Is that on here? I mean, I didn't see it, but it may be in, is it in other departments, or should it all, 10,000 should have been in admin?
It's right here at office equipment,
Okay.
01-110-5905, I just forgot to say it.
I was just expecting to say, it'd be dark and then with the description. Okay.
I don't have an issue or question. When you pay the job descriptions, I saw a couple times where we had council payable and administrators doing the same task. Of the opening, closing of the, caskets, for the secretary. So why do we have the same, one person, 2 people doing the same job?
Well, we all have backups, and so if the city, or if the admin's not there, that other person needs to know how to do it to back them up. So they need to know how to do it, and that's why it's in the job description. That's why they're both doing the same thing.
So can we put them like backup on or something? I don't know, I'm gonna ask my question.
Okay.
And I was looking under, when did we, have we always had a park and rec concession supervisor?
We've always had somebody in a position like that, but they've never had that job description.
So why would we change?
Well, they do more tasks now with it. D'Angelo, what does, this concession stand manager do now? She does, same job and some things, but they all have different responsibilities in that aspect. I'll use the utility accountant, for example. Part of the jobs are split between, down the middle. So one of the girl may be doing billing, but the other girl's gonna be doing leak adjustments and handling the leak list. And then, at different times of the month, they have different things they have to do and they take care of. Another thing they do is, what else does she do? Then they'll split, and they'll both learn, they're both each other's backup, so they're both learning both aspects of the job. In case one of them's not here, the other one can handle it. They have different responsibilities in their own, but they also both do some of the same things.
So could the job be combined, the need and the need? Asking.
Could it be combined? When it was combined, things was getting behind, you couldn't keep up. You couldn't do your job as thoroughly as it needed to be done.
I have a question on the golf course pro shop manager. It said that they are permitted considerable leeway for the exercise of independent judgment and initiating and directing activity. What is considered considerable leeway?
He gets to decide, he does the tournaments. He makes the days the tournaments are, he chooses what kind of tournaments they have.
So his considerable leeway is not,
It's like what days they do tournaments and what tee times they have and stuff like that. It's not who can play golf or how much it is, no. And I can put that, I can change the wording of that if you like.
I have a question about the, building inspector.
Okay.
Let me find it. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then you call me. Okay, so you. I saw some things on there that to me needed specific times in which you will contact me if I have an issue at a we already know, and we have already made contact with the person who the property belongs to, some of those things have already been handled. So why do we not proceed with that or have to wait another, if that time frame is not adhered to, that way another, whatever time to go back and get, whatever that role may be. So, Roger, do you meet with your building inspector? Ask where he is on certain things, so we make sure that it's handled within an appropriate time frame based on policy and procedure.
We'll probably meet 6 or 8 times a day.
Okay, I did that too, but that was based on crisis. I met monthly to talk about the cities. I ain't come, you can have an open door policy. And I walk in and tell you what's happening every day. But there's nothing, from what you're saying, that indicates that you have a specific one-on-one. Now, as important as building inspection is, pop in your office and you talk about that. You follow up on it.
He's a building inspector.
You just think about it.
I'm supervisor.
Yeah, you see. If
I
you
know
guys,
nothing about building inspection. So when he calls and asks me a problem, I try to help the best I can.
you know,
And then if it's not, we'll ask somebody that knows the answer.
but that's how it works. But as long as you've been here, you should have an idea of what the building inspector's, role is. Yeah.
What his role is, but I don't know about building inspection.
And you find, been in your second term, and you don't know what the building inspector. Okay, so let that go. When he comes to you for a specific issue, do you follow up with it? And I'm harping on this because there are things in my district that have been talked about for years that are not being adhered to. And I don't know if we gave them a time frame in which to get that done. Every time I come, there's an excuse for not getting it done. So I'm done with that.
Anything else on the budget?
I got one thing. On the, 24-25 budget, this was based off the 3% raise. And on the back it says, plus 643, revenue, and 12,275 for expenses. And that's for everything that everybody's asked for, and I know this is not accurate, but, this.
Estimated
Right.
this. That's,
Would that meet, I mean, I moved over the years, kind of come up, would that meet the recommended cushion that people would have in the budget normally? I mean, I know it's kind of shot in the dark to some extent, but.
every city's different,
Yeah, some cities will have at least, you know.
Yeah, like
good
the-
cushion.
like the city of Birmingham might have $100,000 cushion, it really, it's city size, budget size. I don't think that there's just a general
Right.
cushion you like to have, I mean, there's a cushion I like to have, as personally, in my budget, that's just a personal preference, and that's just something that over the years has worked well, and it's usually pretty on point, I mean, give or take some, and that is personal preference, if I don't have a surplus over a couple $100,000, I'm
Mm.
not feeling okay with myself.
What has been our cushion in the past?
Right in there, the same it is right now. The same, I try to keep it,
5% and that's go into our cushion.
yeah, and we knock it down, I think it cushion goes down there at 180-something thousand then. So, that's on the 3%,
supervisor, welcome to stay, everybody welcome.
Thank you all.
On August the 22nd, 2024, Board of Zoning Adjustments held a meeting at 5 o'clock. Dollar General has requested a variance for a number of parking spaces.
Variance to lower the amount of parking spots. I believe that was approved. That aspect of it could be appealed if you wanted it to, if you wanted it to go back up to the, number of parking spots that the statute requires. But as far as denying a business to come in and build, that's really not within the council members' authority of what they can and can't do.
What could be appealed,
The variance,
the variance,
or the variance that was granted to allow them to, build less parking spots.
And that would probably make it less of an impact on.
Yes, I mean, if you took away their variance, they're gonna be required to build, I think, 58 parking spots, is that right, 56? So,
They felt like they could get by with it.
they felt like that was unnecessary, if they could get by with fewer parking spots.
I think it's 30-something.
38, 33, something like that.
So what you're saying is, with this being zoned back in 2013, there's really nothing that.
Everybody could be opposed to it, unanimously, and there's nothing.
Can I interrupt? I'm pretty sure that it was on business before. I think
It-
2013 is when we, there's been several times since I've been on council that somebody like Mark Hogger or somebody in Montgomery or somebody would tell us, it's probably a good time for y'all to look at your overall city zoning ordinance, just to make sure there's not any changes you need to make based on what's happened in the city since then or whatever. But I'm pretty sure all we did in 2013 was update our zoning, which would have included that same
Sure.
spot. But I'm pretty sure it was zoned for business even before that.
Sure.
We were always told when I could talking, I just remember people in Montgomery and people in, economic development always told us that, I've noticed going through towns that if you've got state highways or four-lane highways or, you try your best to have at least a portion of the road, 400 feet back or whatever, you have it zoned for business, if it's, if you can, because that's what you need to do, So, I think I remember that was zoned for business even before 2013.
Sure. That was just the last number
Right.
that I was, and I was made aware it's probably before then, but just to give some kind of time frame, it's been over 50 years.
Thank you, John, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
The next one is several months ago, the Historical Preservation Society came to me about the entrance off Court Street that was once location of the CCC camp. And in conjunction with them, the city has purchased a marker noting the history of the CCC camp. And it will be erected at that location. Jimmy Flavor here to represent the Historical Society and tell us a little bit about it, ask some questions.
I'm Ted Pranger, I'm Secretary of the Lawrence County History and Preservation Society, we're separate from the Historical Commission, but, I'm representing History and Preservation. I've talked to, started with Renee, and been talking with the mayor about the CCC gates. And I don't want to get in front of anybody, but just for history updates, CCC was the Civilian Conservation Corps created by FDR in 1935 to help us come out of the Depression and put people to work. Lawrence County, Moulton was the site of one of the first ones that were built around this area. And it's on the property now, corner of School Street and Highway 24. And so we are presently, you have been very helpful with the city. You've already replaced the top cap on one of the gates. graciously replaced that, and we're in discussions about putting up protected bollards, if I pronounce them correctly, and the sign that the city's already purchased to mark the historic significance of the gates. And blocked it when we had fireworks show and things, but it was used during the tractor pull or truck pull that was, recently. And, you know, what we are concerned about, of course, is the safety of those historic gates. So we request, as the Lawrence County History and Preservation Society, that the property on this side, that the, access on the 24 be moved off of the CC gates onto another spot. Before the next large event happens, that, we might have trucks and trailers and stuff going for the gates. We are fine with removing the access to the road as long as there's another one on 24, because you need access on Highway 24 to get to that lot. We also request, and I have this underlined, that we, really request that the CCC gates be drawn in as a part of the plan for the future development there. And we feel that the historic significance of them, that they're marked with a historic mark, would make it an asset to any part that develops there. You know, part of the new plan. So we request that as you are developing this, which I've been told it's in development, to please try to put the CCC gates in the development of the future there. And, but if possible, as soon as possible, start working on trying to put another, entrance on 24 other than through those gates if possible. And additionally, I know that there's the Gibson building on the square scheduled to go down. So, we ask that all efforts be made when the Gibson building is demolished to preserve the facade of the building in some way. And a reminder that the entire square in Moulton is on the National Historic Register. And that Gibson building is one of the buildings that caused us to be on the National Historic Register. And we have lost several things. We don't have the historic storefronts on some buildings, but then the fire was a big thing. So if at all possible, we request that every effort be made to keep the historic integrity of the facade of the Gibson building during this process.
Cindy, do you by chance have any idea, I mean, I'm sure it's something that's something I think about, but how we preserve it, what we might do with it, if you try to put it in another location? Or
No, I understand, and y'all have probably seen, things too, that lots of towns, they have structural cabling and stuff. I'm not an engineer, but they have things in place to preserve the integrity of the brick wall and the openings. Most of them don't have windows and doors in the openings anymore, it's just openings, and then they have a platform, concrete platform behind it, where sometimes there are benches and things and plants and stuff, and, but they preserve the front. There is the marker up front that says the Gibson and the year, and, that would preserve the historic look of that side of the square, which is severely damaged now after the fire.
Unfortunately, I think it's the facade that's not the worst shape,
Yeah,
but
it-
it
yeah.
falls a little bit every day.
I'm sure there's gonna have to be some things done, you know, without a doubt. I have been in, I don't know if anybody else has, in Abbeville, Alabama, and they have a large portion of their, what I call the center of town, dried up. And, but they, of course, have, Billy Raines is their benefactor, and he has preserved the fronts of all the buildings and, put historic things in the windows of all the buildings. We don't have that. But, you know, there are several small towns that I've been through that are keeping everything they can to the brick. And I think Portland even has one that pretty much is behind the front, the storefront, everything else is gone. But I don't want to take any more of your time,
I
but
think Jason's already addressed the person that's gonna do the work and
Yeah,
requested that.
I talked to him, he's working on a plan all the way on, to go ahead.
So we got some more court stuff to do on that.
Yes, we're in our waiting time right now.
We're talking about the other gates in Austin, 24, to avoid using that gate, is that something we can do, or they can stay, try to, I don't know, get one, I don't know, I just want
Probably have to get, county engineer second council meeting for September will be the 16th. So, thank everybody for coming,